complain about other people, of course.
Who do?
Cowboy builders. Who put that lot in for you, they say, and have a laugh at your plumbing or whatever. Then they go and do an even worse job themselves.
Well, there's nothing much more we can do now except wait for it to dry out.
How long will that be?
24 hours. You'll be all right by Friday.
Does Steve McDonald's insurance cover me for loss of earnings while I'm closed?
Don't fret, Roy. I'm sure we'll be OK.
What am I going to do today?
You watch. Something will turn up.
That is a rather facile remark under the circumstances, if you don't mind me saying.
I've got to go. I'll see you later.
I swear to God, Toya, you leave your bedroom light on once more, it's costing us a fortune in electric.
Hey, your mother's right, you know. When you get up in the morning, you want to draw the curtains back and get some free lights.
What? And have folks see me getting dressed?
There's nets up, isn't there?
Look, it's not my fault we haven't got any money. You ought to get a job like normal men.
I've got a job. I've got two.
Yeah, I know. Shoveling muck by day and playing it by night.
Hey, you watch your lip.
Don't worry, I'm going to school.
Cheeky young madam.
I've got a little surprise for you today. You're not going to school. You're coming to hospital with me, pick Rosie up. And then you're both going to Martin's to play.
Why?
Well, I'm going to be late back this afternoon. Mummy and Daddy's got an important meeting in town and... Well, you know, sometimes you stay with Mummy and sometimes you stay with Daddy.
Yeah?
Well, that's because we both want to look after you. And we can't agree on where you're supposed to live. So we've got to let a wise man called the judge decide.
And what would he say?
I don't know. But whatever he says, Mummy and Daddy love you both very much. And wherever he says you've got to live, you'll still see Mummy and Daddy every week.
I want you and Mummy to live together again like before.
I'm sorry. It's not going to happen.
But Daddy, it makes me sad.
Makes me sad as well. Sadder than you'll know. But that's the way it's got to be. There's no way around it.
You know he's stirring things again.
Who?
Steve McDonald. I told you it was bad news and you just won't listen.
What's he been saying?
That I made a mistake picking you.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, he said I'd soon find out.
But he hardly knows me.
Won't stop him if he wants to wind people up. Unless there is something I don't know.
I'm not keeping any secrets from you. Perhaps he's jealous of me. He's got good reason.
Right, Cropper.
Speaking.
For you.
Must be some mistake. I never ordered this.
That's your name on the invoice.
Yesterday, floods. Today, practical jokes, eh?
Well, didn't Haley tell you the insurance paid for this?
Really?
Need to Mr. McDonald to sign.
Yeah, I'll do that. So,
Well, she never said anything to me.
we sorted it out yesterday.
Perhaps she wanted to surprise me.
Right, you've got it for a few days. It's hardly a cafe, but it's better than nout. I'll be back at lunchtime for a hot dog.
Hey, how'd you get this thing going then?
I'm sorry, Roy, that's your department.
What's your cheapest fags?
£1.40 for 10.
£1.40?
Yeah.
I thought there was a price war going on.
You'll not find them cheaper anywhere else.
I'll get them for less than that over the road.
Then go over the road. I'll discount anything else, but not cigarettes. Sorry.
Right then, I will.
Bye.
So was the wee girl all right then?
Yeah, it was just a precaution keeping her in.
And that was your first time back at hospital?
Yeah, it was as it happens.
All right enough. Must have been a bit of a shock.
Well, being on the other side, yeah, it was. Just felt like putting my uniform back on and getting cracking.
Ah, well, you were a grand nurse, so you were, Martin. They lost a good man when they lost you.
Ah, thanks, Jim. Appreciate it.
That's all right.
What's your cheapest fags then?
I thought you were skin.
That's why I want the cheapest, innit?
Well, if you're skin, you should give up altogether.
Look, I didn't come in here for a sermon.
That's our cheapest. £1.45 for 10.
They want 40 over the road.
Are they?
I'll tell you what. Knock 10p off and you're in business.
I'm sorry, that'll take all my profit.
5p then, like them. You'll make nothing at all if I go to the corner shop.
Have to live with it, won't I?
Suit your flaming self, then.
All set.
Just about. Thought I'd get some mints. Stop me biting my tongue off when they start telling lies about me. Thanks. And a packet of tissues, please, for the obvious reasons.
Oh, Sally. Do you want me to go with you? Leanne can look after the shop this afternoon.
No, I'll be all right. They don't allow people in anyway. It's not like a normal court.
Well, let me run you in then.
I'll be fine. I've got my van.
Well, best of luck anyway.
Yeah, we'll be thinking of you.
Thanks.
Oh, come on. What did I tell you? 10p less they're selling them.
Are you sure?
You calling me a liar? Knock 5p off and you've got a deal.
They must be selling them at a loss.
Well, that's what happens in a price war. You've got to keep your nerve. The first to blink goes under.
I can't go any lower. Sorry.
Well, that's no good to me, is it?
Well, I'll throw in £5 worth of potatoes for 70p.
I don't want spuds, do I? Look, start as a slate and stick it on that.
Sorry, no credit.
I'll take my business elsewhere in future. Hey, tell you what, lad. Can you do us a favour?
What?
Nip in here and get us 10 of the cheapest fags they've got. There's the exact money there.
Why can't you do it?
She won't serve me.
Why not?
Because she's a miserable cow.
Quite like her.
Look, are you going to help me or what?
What's it worth?
Is that all you can think of, money?
20p.
20p will be cheaper to get 'em from over the road.
Do that then.
What, you?
Yeah, Carol Delaney, please. Yeah, hi, Carol. It's Martin Platt. Oh, you know, OK. How's yourself? Look, I wondered if you fancy going out for a drink sometime. Or maybe a coffee. Yeah, I just want to pick your brains about one or two things. Anytime. Yeah, Friday morning's good for me. Do you want to come round here? Yeah, OK. All right, I'll see you then. I've got to go. There's someone at the door. Yeah, OK. All right, thanks. See you now. Bye. Hiya. Come in.
Thanks, Martin.
How's Rosie? Hiya, OK.
So she's going to be all right.
Oh, good.
Look, they've had something to eat, so they should be OK. And they've got plenty of things to do.
Look, just let me worry about them, OK? You've got enough on your plate this afternoon.
Yeah. Right, girls, come on, give us a kiss. See you after. You be good for Martin, OK?
Listen, good luck.
I need it, Anna.
See you later.
How are you feeling?
How do you think?
You've got a good case.
So is she.
Let me know how you get on.
I will. I will.
What's your eye up to? It's just a stopgap while we dry out.
He's full of ideas, isn't he?
He's very determined. You need a handbrake?
Oh, I wouldn't mind. You couldn't get some more food out, could you, Nick?
Yeah,
Don't mind
sure.
it. A bit of everything. Yes, thank you.
I told you something to turn up, didn't I?
Well, I'll never doubt your word again.
Hiya. Oh, hiya. You having out? Nah, just looking. Can't afford them prices.
Hey, you've not told anybody I lent you that money, have you?
No. Hey, I told Les Baldwin had subbed me. Oh, don't worry, Lee. I'll pay you back as soon as I can. Well, see ya.
Yeah, see you later. Hiya.
Hi. Was she asking to borrow money again?
No?
Good. She said she got the message, eh?
So, in short, you've set up a sound material base for your children. You've a nice house and a business which shows every sign of doing well.
That's right.
There's no reason why you shouldn't resume looking after them straight away.
No, there isn't.
That completes my examination, Your Honour.
Thank you, Mrs. Bennett. Mr. Daventry.
Thank you, Your Honour. Mrs. Webster, this lovely house you're living in, it's rented, isn't it?
Well, yes.
How long's the lease? A year? 2 years?
Well, I've got another 5 months to run on it, but I'm sure I'll get something sorted out by then.
And this business you have, perhaps you could tell us a little bit about it.
I'm selling ladies' underwear.
So you have offices somewhere?
No, I do it on the local markets.
What kind of turnover do you have?
Well, it's early days yet, so it's quite hard to put a figure on it, but we're doing very well.
And you have accounts to substantiate this?
Well, not really, not yet.
Do you have a business plan of any kind?
Not yet, no.
No sales projections? For the next 6 months, for instance?
Well, it's not really formalised, not yet.
That's because it's not really a business, is it, Mrs. Webster? All you're doing is selling stock left over from your fly-by-night enterprise with Greg Kelly, your former lover.
I am selling that, yes, but I'm determined to make it into something bigger. I've already brought in new stock.
Well, let's hope you do better than you did last time. You funded that with an inheritance from your mother, I believe.
That's right.
How much did she leave you?
£50,000.
And how much was left when the business was dissolved?
10,000.
And how long did the business last?
3.5 months.
So, one failed business, temporary accommodation, part-time work on a market stall, selling bankrupt stock. It's not exactly the sound material base your counsel talked of, is it? Whereas Mr. Webster has his own home and runs a business of 9 years standing.
He's obviously better off than me. I've spent most of our married life being a mother to our children, which is why I'm closer to him than he is.
Ah, yes, the devoted mother, with 2 affairs in the last 15 months to her credit, both with younger men.
I wasn't the first to have an affair.
So it was tit for tat? Or were you just bored with family life? That was the reason for the second affair, wasn't it? When your husband wanted to draw a line under what had happened and invest your mother's legacy in a joint partnership, you wanted more excitement than that, didn't you?
I was deeply unhappy at that time.
So with no thought for your marriage or your children, you started a relationship with a man of dubious moral and professional integrity.
Yes, and I regret it.
You were so besotted with him. You took your children to live in a one-bedroom flat with him, away from the comfort of their own home.
I wanted them with me.
Even though he disliked children, and soon became physically violent towards you.
He never touched the children.
Even so, you still elected to stay with him. Was that in your children's best interest?
I took them away as soon as I realised he wasn't going to change.
But it didn't stop there, though, did it? He broke into your flat on New Year's Eve and tried to assault you, did he not? How do we know this won't happen again? The children could be there next time.
I'd contact the police.
The truth is, Mrs. Webster, you're an emotionally volatile woman, ill-suited to the rigours of family life. Thanks entirely to your irresponsibility, your children are now in desperate need of a stable family home. They need financial certainty and a parent they can trust. And as the evidence shows, you are the last person who can give them any of these things.
You know your Vikram's getting too friendly with Steve McDonald.
So what do? Open a bottle of champagne? Or buy a gun?
No, just have to be careful, that's all. The guy's a con man.
Ah, he's in good company then.
What do you mean?
Well, perhaps con man's too strong a word. But you've got to take some of what Vikram says with a pinch of salt.
Well, like what?
Well, his job for a start.
He's an accountant, isn't he?
If failing your exams twice and dropping out of university makes you an accountant, then yeah, he could be the next advisor to the Treasury.
You mean he's not even qualified?
Oh, no. He does all right, though. Can look after himself. So if you're worried about Steve pulling the wool over his eyes, don't.
Mike, I've just walked all the way down to Fresco's for some fags.
corner shop. Don't tell me to do it. Oh, by the way, thanks for helping us out.
Helping you out?
Subbing our Jan that 200.
Is that what she told you?
Didn't she ask you for it?
Well, she may have asked, but if you think for one moment I'd lend any of you...
Hang on. Then where did she get 200 quid?
Well, if I was you, I'd ask her that.
How long have you been married, Mr. Webster?
12.5 years.
Was most of that time happy?
Yeah, most of it.
So when did things start to go wrong? I'll refresh your memory, shall I? It was the spring of '97 that you started an affair with your business partner, Natalie Horrocks. An affair conducted while your wife was in Scarborough looking after her seriously ill mother. Is that not right?
Yeah.
The breakdown of your marriage can be traced to that affair, can't it?
No, we got back together Christmas that year. It was her affair with Greg Kelly what broke us up.
But it was the first nail in the coffin.
Possibly.
Would you say you were a mature man, Mr. Webster?
Yeah, I'd like to think so.
You blame that affair on your wife for being in Scarborough. Is that the judgment of a mature man?
I think it contributed.
So she's away on an errand of mercy, and you jump into bed with the first woman who comes along?
Look, it wasn't like that. I went to Scarborough. I begged her to come home.
Causing such emotional scenes that your daughter, Rosie, 6 at the time, wandered off in a distraught state. A police search had to be mounted.
Yeah, and I regret that. Look, that isn't typical of me. I've always tried to be a good father. I love those girls.
So you do recognise their need for a mother's love?
Yeah.
Then why did you evict your wife in September of last year?
Because I found out she was seeing Greg Kelly.
Was it really necessary to change the locks and forbid her access to the children?
I was angry at the time. At her and him.
Well, your animosity towards him's no secret. You've had several public brawls with him, one in front of your daughter, Sophie.
Yeah, and I also regret that.
These regrets are mounting up, aren't they, Mr. Webster? Do you regret excluding your wife from Christmas dinner last year to the upset of all concerned? Or leaving your mobile off yesterday so that the school couldn't contact you when Rosie had to go to hospital? You were with your latest girlfriend at the time, I believe. Mrs. Webster may have made mistakes, but at the moment I suggest it is she who is the more loving and responsible towards her children. I suggest also that your application for residency is driven more by revenge against her than love for them.
No, that isn't true.
You may be better off than her materially, but it's not wealth that nurtures young children, it's love. And in most cases, they look first to their mother. I'm not saying that fathers don't provide as well, of course they can. But put a crying child in front of a mother and a father, and it's to the mother that most of them will turn for comfort. It would be unthinkable not to award your wife residency.
What?
I saw Baldwin. Where did you get that money?
Oh, does it matter?
I've been sat here all afternoon, my brain running riot. Because women will do out for money when they're desperate.
Trust you to think of that.
Well, you must have something to hide. Or else you'd have told me the truth.
I took some more stuff to the cost converter, if you must know.
Stuff of mine?
No. My grandma's silver locket. It were all I had left. I didn't tell you because I thought you'd kick up a fuss.
No. Not if it's stuff for yours. In fact, I don't know how you didn't do that in the first place in that case. We might never have got into this mess.
That's what I love about you, Les. You're so selfless. What the hell is this?
It's me wages.
You what?
Charlie was a bit strapped for cash, so he paid me in bog rolls instead.
And what are we supposed to do with them?
Well, I thought that would have been obvious.
Look, we can't eat them and we can't spend them at the shop.
No, but it'll save us having to buy them, won't it?
You used...
Why, eh, Janice? Why? That lot'll keep us for years. You could call it payment in lieu. Do you get it?
I made a right dog's dinner of that.
It was always going to be tough. You did very well.
You made me look a fool and a trollop.
This isn't just about character. It's about who the judge thinks will be the best carer for your children.
How can he choose? If the truth be told, we love them both the same.
Just don't say that too loud, okay?
So what do you reckon?
Difficult to say. It's close.
How close?
Close as it gets.
Judge Robertson is ready now if you'd like to reconvene.
How'd it go?
Brilliant.
Is that everybody talking?
A lot of people were asking if it were a promotion gimmick, actually. You're a very clever woman, Hayley.
Don't feel so damp in here now. Should be okay by Friday.
You're like me. You don't take compliments easily.
I'm not that clever. It were insurance.
Well, I didn't see it.
Well, you had a lot of other things on your mind.
Hayley, thank you. And thank you for coming into my life.
Good. Well, onward and upward.
This is a difficult case to adjudicate. Mr. and Mrs. Webster both clearly love their children, and both, I'm sure, would cope well with single parenthood. Both have made mistakes in the past, but lessons have been learnt which should prevent those mistakes from being repeated. So, who is better placed to be the primary carer? Mr. Webster has the stronger material base, and his behavior over the last 15 months has been more responsible than his wife's. However, we are not here to decide who has been better behaved, but who will be the better carer. Sophie and Rosie have been well looked after in recent months by Mr. Webster, and his devotion is to be commended. For the lives before this, though, it was Mrs. Webster who did most of the day-to-day parenting. And now that she's in a stable position again, I think the children's best interests would be served by the re-establishing of that deep bond. So while I hope Mr. Webster will continue his excellent work as a father, I have nevertheless decided to award residency to Mrs. Webster.
You can't do this!
I'm sorry, Mr. Webster.
I've done everything for those girls!
You kindly refrain, Mr. Webster.
He practically admitted it was her fault our marriage broke up. Then she walks back in and takes my girls off me. What's a father got to do in this country to get custody of his own kids?
Mr. Webster, you do your case no good at all.
What case? I've already lost.
I've already said you can continue to be a good father.
If this is all the reward I get, what's the flaming point?